The fluorescent lights of the Metro diner flickered slightly as Maya Richardson wiped down the counter for what felt like the 100th time that evening. Her feet ached in the worn sneakers she had been wearing for the past 6 months, the same ones she kept promising herself she would replace once she saved enough money. The diner was located in the heart of downtown Chicago, sandwiched between luxury hotels and expensive restaurants that Maya could never afford to eat at herself. She had been working double shifts for the past 3 weeks, trying to scrape together enough money to pay for her mother's medical bills and keep the lights on in their small apartment. Maya was 26 years old with warm brown skin that glowed even under the harsh diner lights, and natural hair that she usually kept pulled back in a simple bun during her shifts. Her eyes were a striking shade of amber, inherited from her grandmother, and they held a determination that had carried her through countless hardships. She had grown up in the south side of Chicago, raised by a single mother who worked 3 jobs to give her a better life. Maya had dreams once, big dreams of going to college and becoming a journalist, but life had other plans. When her mother was diagnosed with lupus 2 years ago, Maya had to drop out of community college to take care of her and work full-time. The evening rush had finally died down, and Maya was grateful for the brief moment of peace. She glanced at the clock on the wall. It was almost 9 in the evening, and she still had 3 more hours before her shift ended. A kind woman in her 50s who had been working at the diner for over 20 years, came up beside her with a tired smile. "You doing okay, honey?" asked, her voice filled with genuine concern. She had taken Maya under her wing when she first started working at the diner, treating her like the daughter she never had. Maya nodded, forcing a smile. "Just tired, but aren't we all?" Patted her shoulder. "You're a strong girl, Maya. Your mama raised you right. Things will get better, you'll see." Maya wanted to believe her, but some days it felt like she was drowning, barely keeping her head above water. The medical bills kept piling up, and no matter how many extra shifts she worked, it never seemed to be enough. She had applied for better-paying jobs, positions that matched her skills and education, but she always seemed to hit the same wall. Either they wanted more experience, or they had already filled the position, or sometimes they would just look at her resume and then at her face, and she could see the decision being made before they even spoke. The bell above the diner door chimed, signaling a new customer. Maya looked up, preparing her well-practiced customer service smile, but it faltered slightly when she saw who walked in. It was a group of 4 men, all dressed in expensive suits that probably cost more than her entire month's salary. They looked out of place in the modest diner, like exotic birds that had accidentally landed in the wrong habitat. 3 of the men were white, middle-aged, with the kind of confident swagger that came from a lifetime of privilege. But it was the 4th man who caught Maya's attention. He was tall, probably in his early 40s, with dark hair that was graying slightly at the temples. He had sharp features, piercing blue eyes, and an air of authority that suggested he was used to being in control. Unlike his companions, who were laughing loudly and seemed slightly drunk, he appeared more reserved, almost uncomfortable with the situation. The men took a booth near the back of the diner, and Maya could hear their loud voices even from across the room, shot her a sympathetic look. "You want me to take that table?" Maya shook her head. "No, it's fine, I've got it." She grabbed her notepad and walked over to their table, keeping her professional smile firmly in place. As she approached, she could smell the alcohol on their breath and notice the way they looked at her, their eyes traveling up and down her body in a way that made her skin crawl. She had dealt with men like this before, too many times to count. It was part of the job, unfortunately, something she had learned to handle with practiced grace. "Good evening, what can I get for you tonight?" Maya asked, her voice polite but firm. One of the men, a heavy-set guy with thinning hair and a red face, leaned back in his seat and grinned at her. Well, aren't you a pretty little thing? What's your name, sweetheart?" Maya kept her smile in place, though it no longer reached her eyes. "My name is Maya, and I'll be your server tonight. Can I start you off with some drinks?" "Maya," the man repeated, drawing out her name in a way that made her uncomfortable. "That's a beautiful name for a beautiful girl. You know what, Maya? I think we need a minute to look at the menu. But why don't you come sit with us while we decide?" The other 2 men laughed, and one of them added, "Yeah, we could use some company. This place is kind of dead." Maya's jaw tightened, but she maintained her composure. "I'm afraid I can't do that, sir, but I'll be happy to come back in a few minutes to take your order." She turned to walk away, but the heavy-set man reached out and grabbed her wrist. "Hey, we're talking to you. Don't be rude." Maya's heart began to race, but she kept her voice steady. "Sir, I'm going to need you to let go of my wrist." The man's grip tightened and his smile turned mean. "Or what? You gonna call your manager? Go ahead. We're paying customers." It was at that moment that the fourth man, the one who had been quietly observing the exchange, spoke up. His voice was calm but carried an edge of authority. "Daniel, let her go." The heavy-set man, Daniel, looked at his companion in surprise. "Oh, come on, Alex. We're just having a little fun." "Let her go," Alex repeated, and this time there was no mistaking the command in his voice. Daniel released Maya's wrist with a snort. "Fine, fine. You always were too uptight." Maya took a step back, rubbing her wrist where the man had grabbed her. She could feel her hands trembling slightly, a mix of anger and adrenaline coursing through her veins. "I'll come back when you're ready to order," she said, her voice tight. She walked back to the counter, where was waiting with a concerned expression. "You okay, baby?" Maya nodded, though she could still feel her heart pounding in her chest. "I'm fine, just another night at the diner." But as she herself with cleaning tables and refilling salt shakers, she couldn't help but glance back at the table with the four men. The one called Alex was different from the others. While his companions continued to laugh and joke loudly, he sat quietly, occasionally checking his phone and looking distinctly uncomfortable. There was something about him that didn't quite fit with the group, as if he was there out of obligation rather than desire. 20 minutes later, Maya returned to their table to take their order. The three drunk men ordered burgers and more beer, making crude jokes the entire time. When she turned to Alex, he looked up at her with those piercing blue eyes, and for a moment, something passed between them, an understanding or recognition that Maya couldn't quite name. "Just coffee, please, black, no sugar," he said simply. Maya nodded and went to place their order. As she worked, she tried to shake off the uneasy feeling that had settled in her stomach. She had dealt with difficult customers before, but there was something about this group that felt different, more threatening. The way they looked at her, the entitled way they carried themselves, it all reminded her of every injustice she had ever faced, every time she had been made to feel less than. As she brought out their food, Daniel called out to her again. "Hey, Maya, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? You got a boyfriend? Husband?" Maya set down their plates with practiced efficiency. "Is there anything else I can get for you?" "Oh, she's playing hard to get," one of the other men laughed. "I like that." "Leave her alone," Alex said quietly, but his companions ignored him. Daniel leaned forward, his elbows on the table. "Come on, sweetheart. We're just trying to be friendly. You work here every night. Maybe we should come by more often." Maya felt a chill run down her spine at the implication. "Enjoy your meal." She walked away, but she could feel their eyes following her across the diner. For the rest of their meal, the three drunk men continued to make comments every time she passed by their table, growing bolder and more inappropriate with each one. Alex remained silent for most of it, though Maya noticed him growing increasingly tense, his jaw clenched tight. The diner was nearly empty now. Most of the other customers had left and even had gone to the back to prepare for closing. Maya was alone on the floor, and she was beginning to feel genuinely afraid. She had texted her friend Jasmine earlier, telling her about the difficult customers, and Jasmine had offered to come pick her up after her shift. But that was still over an hour away. When the men finally finished their meal, Maya brought over the check, placing it in the middle of the table. "Thank you for dining with us tonight." As she turned to leave, Daniel stood up abruptly, blocking her path. "Wait a minute, we're not done here." Maya's heart raced. "Sir, I really need to get back to work." "What's the rush?" Daniel moved closer, and Maya could smell the alcohol heavy on his breath. "We've been such good customers. Don't we deserve a little extra service?" The other two men had stood up as well, forming a semicircle around her. Maya glanced toward the kitchen, wondering if could hear what was happening, if she should call out for help. "I think you should leave," Maya said, trying to keep her voice from shaking. "Now." Daniel laughed. "Or what, you gonna make us?" It was then that Alex stood up, and suddenly the dynamic shifted. He was taller than Maya had realized, easily over 6 feet, with a presence that commanded attention. "That's enough. We're leaving." "Come on, Alex, we're just—" "I said we're leaving. Now." Alex pulled out his wallet and threw several bills on the table, far more than the meal had cost. "Let's go." The three men grumbled but began to move toward the exit. Daniel paused beside Maya, leaning in close enough that she could feel his breath on her face. "This isn't over, sweetheart. We know where you work." The words sent a spike of fear through Maya's heart. She watched as they filed out of the diner, and for a moment she thought the nightmare was over. But then she saw them through the window, not getting into a car but instead lingering on the sidewalk, smoking cigarettes and talking among themselves. They kept looking back at the diner at her, and Maya realized with growing horror that they were waiting for her shift to end. Her hands were shaking as she cleared their table, emerged from the kitchen, and immediately picked up on her distress. "Maya, what's wrong? What did those men do?" "They're waiting outside," Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They said they know where I work. They're waiting for me." His face hardened. "I'm calling the police." "No," Maya grabbed her arm. The last thing she needed was to involve the police. In her experience, that often made things worse, especially for someone who looked like her. "Please, I'll just wait until they leave, or I can call my friend to come get me." Looked torn, but she nodded. "All right, but I'm not leaving you here alone." For the next hour, Maya stayed in the diner, cleaning and preparing for the next day while keeping an eye on the men outside. But they didn't leave. If anything, they seemed to be settling in as if they had all the time in the world. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Jasmine saying she was stuck at work and wouldn't be able to pick her up for at least another hour. Maya felt tears of frustration prick at her eyes. This was so unfair. All she wanted to do was work her shift, earn her money, and go home to check on her mother. She didn't deserve this harassment, this fear. But she had learned long ago that what she deserved and what she got were two very different things. She was wiping down the counter for the third time, trying to figure out what to do when the door opened again. Maya's heart jumped into her throat, thinking it was one of the men coming back inside. But it wasn't. It was Alex, the one who had defended her, standing in the doorway with his hands in his pockets. "I'm sorry to bother you," he said, his voice quiet. "But I wanted to apologize for my associate's behavior tonight. It was completely unacceptable." Maya stared at him, not sure what to say. Part of her was angry at him just for being associated with those men, but another part recognized that he had been the only one trying to stop them. "They're still out there," Maya said finally. "They're waiting for me." Alex's expression darkened. "I know. That's why I came back. I sent them away in a car, but I don't trust that they actually left the area. I thought maybe I could give you a ride home, make sure you get there safely." Maya shook her head immediately. "No, thank you, I don't know you." "I understand," Alex said. "And I don't blame you for not trusting me, but I promise you I mean you no harm. My name is Alexander Thornton. I'm a businessman here in Chicago. You can look me up on your phone right now if you want. I just want to make sure you get home safely. Those men, Daniel especially, he can be unpredictable when he's been drinking." Had come up beside Maya, her protective instincts in full force. "Who are you exactly? And why are you hanging around with men like that if you're so concerned about her safety?" Alex sighed, and for the first time, Maya saw a flash of something in his eyes, regret, perhaps, or shame. "That's a fair question. They're business partners of my father's. I was obligated to take them to dinner tonight. But I don't condone their behavior, not at all." Maya pulled out her phone and quickly searched for Alexander Thornton. What she found made her eyes widen. He wasn't just a businessman. He was the CEO of Thornton Industries, one of the largest tech companies in the country. There were dozens of articles about him, photos of him at charity galas and business conferences. According to the internet, Alexander Thornton was worth billions. A billionaire had just walked into her diner and was offering to give her a ride home. Maya looked up at him, seeing him in a new light. "Why would someone like you care about what happens to me?" Alex met her gaze steadily. "Because it's the right thing to do, and because I've seen enough bad things happen to good people to know that I should help when I can." There was a sincerity in his voice that Maya wanted to believe. She looked at who seemed to be weighing the options as well, finally spoke up. "Let me see your driver's license." Alex didn't hesitate. He pulled out his wallet and handed it over, examined it carefully, then pulled out her own phone and took a picture of it. "I'm sending this to my phone and to Maya's friend. If anything happens to her, we'll know exactly who to blame." "Fair enough," Alex said without a trace of annoyance. Maya chewed her lip, trying to decide. Every instinct told her not to get in a car with a strange man, no matter how rich or seemingly kind he was. But the alternative was walking out into the dark Chicago night with three drunk men potentially waiting for her. At least with Alex had his information. And there was something about him, something in the way he had defended her earlier, that made her think she could trust him. "Okay," Maya said finally. But I need to text my friend the license plate of your car, too. Of course, Alex said. It's a black Mercedes license plate at 2847. Would you like me to wait outside while you finish closing up? Maya nodded, and Alex left the diner. Through the window, she could see him standing beside a sleek black car, checking his phone. Helped her finish the closing duties quickly, all while lecturing her about being careful. You call me the second you get home, you hear me? Said, squeezing Maya's hand. And if anything feels wrong, you call 911 immediately. I will, Maya promised. She texted Jasmine all the information about Alex, his car, and the situation, and Jasmine responded with multiple messages telling her to be careful and to share her location. Finally, Maya couldn't delay any longer. She said goodbye took a deep breath, and walked out of the diner. The cool night air hit her face, and she looked around nervously for any sign of the three men. She didn't see them, but that didn't mean they weren't nearby. Alex opened the passenger door of his car for her, a gesture that felt oddly old-fashioned. Maya slid into the leather seat, which was more comfortable than her bed at home. The car smelled like expensive cologne and new leather. Alex got in the driver's side and started the engine. Where do you live? He asked. Maya hesitated for a moment before giving him her address. As they pulled away from the diner, she kept her phone in her hand, her thumb hovering over Jasmine's number, ready to call at the first sign of trouble. But Alex seemed genuine. He drove carefully, keeping his eyes on the road, and didn't try to make small talk or ask her personal questions. They were stopped at a red light when Alex's phone rang. He glanced at it and frowned. I'm sorry, I need to take this. It's about a business emergency. He answered the call, and Maya listened as he spoke in clipped, professional tones about some kind of deal that was falling through. She stared out the window at the Chicago skyline, thinking about how surreal this entire night had been. This morning, she had woken up in her cramped apartment, worried about making rent. Now she was sitting in a billionaire's car, listening to him negotiate what sounded like a multi-million-dollar deal. As Alex finished his phone call, Maya found herself studying him more carefully. In the dim light of the car, she could see the lines of stress etched around his eyes, the way his jaw tensed when he spoke about business matters. He wasn't what she had expected a billionaire to be. There was no arrogance in his demeanor, no sense of superiority. If anything, he seemed tired, burdened by responsibilities she couldn't begin to imagine. When he hung up, he let out a long breath and rubbed his temples. I apologize for that. It's been a long day. It's fine, Maya said quietly. The car began moving again, and she gave him directions to her neighborhood. She noticed the way his expression changed slightly when she told him where she lived, not with judgment, but with what seemed like concern. Her neighborhood wasn't the worst in Chicago, but it wasn't safe either. It was the kind of place where you kept your head down and your doors locked. They drove in silence for a few minutes, and Maya found herself relaxing slightly. Alex hadn't done anything to make her uncomfortable. In fact, he seemed to be going out of his way to respect her space, keeping his hands on the wheel and his eyes on the road. She thought about the three men from earlier and felt a wave of gratitude that Alex had come back. Can I ask you something? Alex said suddenly, breaking the silence. Maya tensed. What? How long have you been working at that diner? It seemed like an innocent enough question. About 2 years. Why? Alex was quiet for a moment, as if choosing his words carefully. You seem too smart to be stuck in a place like that. I don't mean that as an insult. There's nothing wrong with being a waitress. But I saw the way you handled yourself tonight. You're intelligent, composed under pressure. I'm guessing you have bigger dreams. Maya felt a lump form in her throat. It had been so long since anyone had acknowledged that she was capable of more. I was in college once, community college studying journalism, but my mom got sick, and I had to drop out to take care of her and work full-time. I'm sorry, Alex said, and he sounded like he genuinely meant it. That must be incredibly difficult. Maya shrugged, trying to act like it didn't bother her, even though it did, every day. It is what it is. You do what you have to do for family. That's admirable, Alex said. Not everyone would make that sacrifice. They turned onto Maya's street, and she pointed to a small apartment building halfway down the block. That's me, the one with the blue door. Alex pulled up to the curb and put the car in park. Maya expected him to say goodbye and let her out, but instead, he turned to face her. Listen, I know this might seem strange, but I'd like to help you. Maya's guard immediately went back up. Help me how? I own a tech company, Thornton Industries. We're always looking for talented people. You said you studied journalism. Can you write, do research, handle communications? Maya blinked at him, not sure if this was really happening. I mean, yes, but I don't have a degree. I only finished a year and a half of community college. That doesn't matter to me, Alex said. I care more about ability than credentials. If you're interested, I could set up an interview for you. Entry-level position in our communications department. It would pay better than the diner, have health benefits, and give you room to grow. Maya stared at him, her mind racing. This couldn't be real. Things like this didn't happen to people like her. Why would you do this? You don't even know me. Alex leaned back in his seat, his expression thoughtful. My mother was a waitress. She raised me on her own after my father left. I watched her work herself to the bone, dealing with difficult customers, terrible hours, all while trying to make sure I had a better life. She died when I was 19, right before I started my first company. She never got to see any of my success. There was a pain in his voice that Maya recognized, the ache of loss and regret. I'm sorry, she said softly. The point is, Alex continued, I know what it's like to struggle, and I know what it's like to need someone to give you a chance. My mother's boss at the diner she worked at paid for my first year of community college. That one act of kindness changed the trajectory of my entire life. So when I see someone like you, someone who's smart and but stuck in a difficult situation, I want to do what I can to help. Maya felt tears prick at her eyes. She had been so angry at the world for so long, convinced that no one cared about people like her. But here was this man, this billionaire who had no obligation to her whatsoever, offering her a lifeline. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything right now, Alex said. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a business card. Here's my direct number. Think about it, and if you're interested, call me tomorrow. We can set up an interview. Maya took the card with trembling fingers. It was thick, expensive, with embossed letters. Alexander Thornton, CEO, Thornton Industries. There was a phone number and an email address. She stared at it, trying to process everything that had happened in the last few hours. Thank you, she finally managed to say, for everything, for standing up for me at the diner, for the ride home, for this. Alex smiled, and it transformed his face, making him look younger and less burdened. You're welcome. Now get inside safely. I'll wait here until I see you're in. Maya got out of the car, her legs feeling unsteady. She walked to her apartment building, unlocked the door, and turned back to wave at Alex. He waved back and didn't drive away until she was safely inside. Maya climbed the stairs to her third-floor apartment, her mind whirling. She unlocked her door and stepped inside the small space she shared with her mother. It was cramped and the furniture was old, but it was clean and filled with photos and memories. Her mother was asleep on the couch, the television playing softly. Maya gently covered her with a blanket and kissed her forehead before retreating to her own tiny bedroom. She sat on her bed and pulled out Alex's business card again, running her fingers over the raised letters. Could this really be her way out? A chance at a better job, better pay, a chance to take care of her mother properly and maybe even go back to school. It seemed too good to be true. Maya called Jasmine immediately. Her best friend answered on the first ring. Girl, are you okay? I've been worried sick. I'm fine, Maya assured her. Better than fine, actually. You won't believe what just happened. She told Jasmine everything. The drunk men at the diner, Alex coming back to give her a ride, and the job offer. Jasmine listened in stunned silence, only occasionally interjecting with gasps or exclamations. This is insane, Jasmine said when Maya finished. Like actually insane. Are you sure this guy is legit? Because this sounds like the plot of a romance novel. I looked him up. He's real. Alexander Thornton is a real billionaire CEO. I'm holding his business card right now. Okay, but be careful, Jasmine warned. Rich men don't just offer jobs to waitresses out of the goodness of their hearts. What if he wants something else? Maya had wondered the same thing. I don't think so. He seemed genuine, and he told me about his mother, about how she struggled. I think he really does just want to help. Well, if you decide to go for the interview, I'm coming with you, Jasmine declared. At least to the building. I want to make sure this is all on the up and up. Maya smiled. This was why Jasmine was her best friend. They had known each other since high school, and Jasmine had always had her back. Deal. I think I am going to call him tomorrow. I mean, what do I have to lose? They talked for another hour, with Jasmine helping Maya plan what she would say and wear to the interview. When they finally hung up, Maya felt a flicker of hope that she hadn't felt in years. Maybe, just maybe, things were about to change. The next morning, Maya woke up early and checked on her mother. Richardson was sitting at the kitchen table, sipping tea and working on a crossword puzzle. She looked up when Maya entered, her face lighting up with a smile. "Morning, baby. You got in late last night." "Yeah, long shift," Maya said, pouring herself a cup of coffee. She hesitated, wondering if she should tell her mother about Alex and the job offer. She decided to wait until after the interview. No point in getting her mother's hopes up if it didn't work out. "You look tired," her mother observed. "You're working too hard." "I'm fine, Mama," Maya assured her. But she wasn't fine. She was exhausted, mentally and physically. The incident with the drunk men had shaken her more than she wanted to admit. After making sure her mother had eaten breakfast and taken her medication, Maya retreated to her room and stared at Alex's business card. It was 9 in the morning. Was it too early to call? Too eager. She didn't want to seem desperate, but she also didn't want to waste time. Taking a deep breath, she dialed the number on the card. It rang twice before a woman answered. "Mr. Thornton's office, this is speaking." Maya's courage almost failed her. Hi, my name is Maya Richardson. Mr. Thornton told me to call this number to set up an interview." There was a pause, and Maya heard the sound of typing. "Ah, yes, Ms. Richardson. Mr. Thornton left a note about you. He said you would be calling. Are you available to come in today at 2 o'clock? Today, Maya's heart raced. "Yes, I can do that." "Excellent. I'll send you an email with the address and instructions for where to go when you arrive. You'll be meeting with Mr. Thornton and our head of communications, Karen White." Maya provided her email address, thanked, and hung up. Then she immediately called Jasmine. "It's happening. The interview is today at 2. "What?" Jasmine shrieked. "That's in 5 hours. Okay, don't panic. Come to my place. I'll help you get ready." Maya grabbed the one professional outfit she owned, a simple black skirt and white blouse she had bought for college presentations, and headed to Jasmine's apartment. Her friend lived in a slightly better neighborhood, in a one-bedroom she shared with her boyfriend. For the next 3 hours, Jasmine helped Maya prepare. They ironed her outfit, styled her natural hair into a professional-looking twist-out, and practiced interview questions. Jasmine even lent Maya a pair of nicer shoes and a blazer that fit surprisingly well. "You look amazing," Jasmine said, stepping back to admire her work. "Professional, confident, capable, you've got this." Maya looked at herself in the mirror. She barely recognized the woman staring back at her. "I'm so nervous I might throw up." "Don't you dare throw up on my blazer," Jasmine joked. "Listen, Maya, you deserve this opportunity. You're smart, you're one of the best writers I know. Remember those articles you used to write for the community college paper? They were incredible." Maya had forgotten about those articles. It felt like a lifetime ago when she had dreams of being a journalist, of telling stories that mattered. What if I'm not good enough? What if this is all some weird mistake? Jasmine grabbed her shoulders and looked her in the eyes. "Then it's their loss, but I don't think it is. I think Alexander Thornton saw something special in you, and he's right. Now go show them what you're made of." Drove them to the Thornton Industries building in downtown Chicago. Maya's jaw dropped when she saw it, a gleaming skyscraper of glass and steel that seemed to touch the clouds. The lobby was all marble and modern art, with well-dressed people moving purposefully across the polished floors. "I'll wait right here," Jasmine said, giving Maya's hand a squeeze. "You go change your life." Maya took a deep breath and approached the reception desk. The woman behind it smiled professionally and directed her to the 35th floor. As Maya rode the elevator up, she watched the city shrink below her through the glass walls. She had never been this high up before. It felt symbolic somehow, like she was literally rising above her circumstances. The elevator doors opened onto a sleek office space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. A friendly receptionist directed Maya to a conference room where she was told to wait. She sat in one of the comfortable leather chairs and tried not to fidget with her hands. The door opened, and a woman in her 50s with short gray hair and kind eyes walked in. She extended her hand. "Maya, I'm Karen White, head of communications. It's nice to meet you." Maya shook her hand, trying to project confidence she didn't quite feel. "Nice to meet you, too. Alex, Mr. Thornton, spoke very highly of you. He said you handled a difficult situation with grace and professionalism." Before Maya could respond, the door opened again and Alex walked in. He was wearing a perfectly tailored navy suit and looked every inch the powerful CEO. But when he saw Maya, his face broke into a warm smile. "Maya, you came? I'm glad." "Thank you for this opportunity," Maya said. They spent the next hour talking. Karen asked Maya about her background, her education, her experience at the diner. Maya had worried that her limited work history would be a problem, but Karen seemed more interested in her writing samples and her ability to communicate clearly. Alex mostly listened, occasionally asking questions that showed he was paying close attention. Maya found herself relaxing as the interview went on. This felt real. This felt like it could actually happen. "I have to be honest with you, Maya," Karen said toward the end of the interview. "You don't have the traditional background we usually look for, but Alex trusts his instincts about people, and I've learned to trust them too. I'm willing to take a chance on you if you're willing to work hard and learn." Maya felt tears prick at her eyes, but she blinked them back. "I'm willing to work harder than anyone else here. I promise you that." Karen smiled. "I believe you. The position is for a junior communications associate. You'd be assisting with press releases, internal communications, social media management, and general research. The salary is $55,000 a year with full health benefits, retirement plan, and opportunities for advancement. We'd need you to start in 2 weeks. Does that work for you?" $55,000. Maya's head spun. That was more than double what she made at the diner. With health benefits that would cover her mother's treatments, she could barely breathe. Yes, that works." "Excellent," Karen said, standing up and shaking Maya's hand again. "Welcome to Thornton Industries, Maya. We'll email you all the onboarding paperwork." After Karen left, Alex remained in the conference room with Maya. "Congratulations," he said simply. Maya didn't know what to say. Her entire life had just changed in the span of an hour. "Thank you," she finally managed. "Thank you for believing in me, for giving me this chance. I won't let you down." "I know you won't," Alex said. There was something in his eyes, a warmth that made Maya's heart skip a beat. "And Maya, if you ever feel unsafe at work, if anyone makes you uncomfortable, you come directly to me. Understood?" Maya nodded, thinking about the men from the night before. What about those men, Daniel and the others? Alex's expression darkened. "They won't be a problem. I've made it very clear to them that they're not welcome anywhere near this building or you. If they violate that, I'll handle it." The way he said it with such quiet authority made Maya believe him. She felt safer than she had in a long time. "Thank you." As Maya left the building and found Jasmine waiting in the lobby, she felt like she was walking on air. Jasmine took one look at her face and squealed. "You got it! Oh my God, you got the job!" They hugged, jumping up and down like teenagers, drawing amused looks from the professional people walking by. Maya didn't care. For the first time in 2 years, she felt like she could breathe, like there was hope for a better future. That evening, Maya sat down with her mother and told her everything. About the scary men at the diner, about Alex's rescue and kindness, about the job offer. Her mother cried tears of joy and pulled Maya into a tight embrace. "My baby girl," she whispered. "I'm so proud of you. I've been so worried, watching you work yourself to death trying to take care of me." "It's going to get better now, Mama," Maya said. "With this new job, we can afford better treatment for you, maybe even move to a better apartment." Over the next 2 weeks, Maya worked her final shifts at Metro Diner. Was overjoyed for her, though sad to see her go. On Maya's last night, the regular customers threw her a small goodbye party and gave her a heartfelt hug and told her to never forget where she came from. Maya started at Thornton Industries on a Monday morning, wearing a new outfit she had bought with her last paycheck from the diner. She was nervous, but excited, ready to prove that Alex's faith in her wasn't misplaced. Karen welcomed her warmly and introduced her to the communications team, a group of friendly and professional people who seemed genuinely happy to have her there. The work was challenging but fulfilling. Maya threw herself into learning everything she could, staying late and coming in early. She discovered she had a natural talent for crafting press releases and managing the company's social media presence. Karen praised her work regularly, and Maya felt herself growing more confident with each passing day. 3 months into her new position at Thornton Industries, Maya had settled into a comfortable routine. She woke up early, checked on her mother who was doing better now that they could afford her medications, and arrived at the office by 8. The work was demanding, but in a way that challenged and excited her rather than draining her the way the diner had. She was learning new skills every day, working on projects that mattered, and for the first time in years, she felt like she was building toward something. Her relationship with her had blossomed too. There was Jennifer, a sharp-witted woman in her 30s who took Maya under her wing and taught her the ins and outs of corporate communication. David, a young man fresh out of college who sat in the cubicle next to hers, became a lunch buddy and would often bounce ideas off her. Even Karen, who could be strict about deadlines and quality, had a softer side and would occasionally share stories about her own journey in the corporate world. But it was her interactions with Alex that confused Maya the most. He continued to check in on her regularly, more often than she suspected he did with other junior employees. Sometimes it was just a quick stop by her desk to see how a project was going. Other times, he would invite her to grab coffee in the buildings and ask about her life outside of work. Maya told herself it was just his management style, that he was naturally caring and attentive. But there were moments, the way his eyes lingered on her face when she spoke, the genuine interest he showed in her opinions, the small smile that appeared when she walked into a room, that made her wonder if there was something more. She tried to push those thoughts away. He was a billionaire CEO, and she was a former waitress who had only been working there for 3 months. The idea of anything happening between them was absurd. One Friday afternoon, Maya was working on a press release about Thornton Industries' new initiative to provide scholarships for underprivileged students. She was so focused on getting the tone just right that she didn't notice Alex had entered her cubicle until he spoke. "Working late again." Maya jumped slightly and looked up to find him leaning against the entrance to her cubicle, his suit jacket draped over his arm and his tie loosened. He looked tired but pleased to see her. "I wanted to finish this press release before the weekend. We're announcing the scholarship program on Monday." Alex's face lit up with interest. "May I see it?" Maya felt a flutter of nervousness. She had worked hard on this piece, but having the CEO himself review it was intimidating. She turned her computer screen so he could see it and watched as his eyes scanned the text. His expression was unreadable, and Maya found herself holding her breath. Finally, he looked up at her with an expression of genuine admiration. "This is excellent, Maya, really excellent. You captured exactly what we wanted to convey, the commitment to giving back, the understanding of how education can transform lives. This is from the heart." Maya felt warmth spread through her chest at his praise. "Thank you. This project means a lot to me. I know what it's like to have education seem impossible because of financial circumstances." Alex pulled up the chair from David's empty cubicle and sat down, seeming in no hurry to leave. "Your mother, how is she doing?" The question surprised Maya. He remembered. "She's doing much better, actually. With the health insurance from here, we've been able to get her better medications and regular checkups. She has more energy now. She even started painting again, which is something she loved doing before she got sick." "I'm glad to hear that," Alex said, and the sincerity in his voice was unmistakable. "That was part of why I wanted to help you. I know what it's like to watch a parent struggle." "Your mother, you said she passed away before she could see your success. Do you think she would be proud of what you've built?" Alex was quiet for a moment, his blue eyes distant. "I think she would be proud, but maybe not for the reasons people assume. My mother didn't care much about money or status. She cared about kindness, integrity, doing right by people. She would be proud that we're starting this scholarship program. She would be proud that I helped you get a fair chance. Those are the things that would matter to her." Maya felt a connection to this man that went deeper than just employer and employee. They both understood loss, struggle, the weight of responsibility to the people they loved. "She sounds like she was an amazing woman." "She was," Alex said softly. Then he seemed to shake off the melancholy and smiled at Maya. "Do you have plans this weekend?" The question caught Maya off guard. Not really, just spending time with my mom, catching up on sleep." "Why?" Alex hesitated, and for the first time, Maya saw uncertainty in his expression. "There's a charity gala tomorrow night. It's for the Children's Education Fund, an organization I've supported for years. I was wondering if you might want to attend with me." Maya's heart began to race. Was he asking her on a date, or was this a work function? "As your date," she asked carefully. Alex ran a hand through his hair, a gesture that made him seem more human and less like the untouchable billionaire. "If you want to think of it that way, or we could call it a networking opportunity, whatever makes you comfortable. I just know these events can be boring and I'd enjoy your company." Maya's mind raced through all the reasons she should say no. She didn't have anything to wear to a charity gala. She would be completely out of her element. People would wonder who she was and why she was there. But underneath all those practical concerns was a thrill of excitement, a desire to say yes that she couldn't quite suppress. "I don't have anything appropriate to wear to something like that," she said, giving him an out if he wanted to rescind the invitation. "That's not a problem," Alex said quickly. "There's a boutique not far from here. I could have them send over some options for you to choose from." Maya shook her head. "I can't let you buy me a dress, that's too much." "Consider it a work expense," Alex said with a slight smile. "You'll be representing Thornton Industries at the event. Besides, if you're worried about owing me something, don't be. I'm asking you to do me a favor by keeping me company at what would otherwise be a very dull evening." Maya found herself smiling despite her nervousness. "Is that how you convince all your employees to attend fancy parties with you?" "Actually, I've never invited any other employee to be my date at a gala," Alex admitted. "So you'd be doing something for me that no one else has." The admission hung in the air between them, charged with meaning. Maya knew that if she said yes, she would be stepping over some invisible line, entering territory that was complicated and potentially dangerous. But she had been playing it safe her whole life, and where had that gotten her? Maybe it was time to take a risk. "Okay," she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. "I'll go with you." Alex's face broke into a genuine smile, the kind that reached his eyes and transformed his usually serious expression. "Great. I'll have my assistant contact you with the details and arrange for the boutique to send over some dresses. The car will pick you up at 7 tomorrow evening." After he left, Maya sat at her desk in a daze. Had that really just happened? She pulled out her phone and immediately texted Jasmine, "Emergency, need to talk, call me ASAP." Jasmine called within minutes. "What's wrong, are you okay?" "Alex just asked me to go to a charity gala with him tomorrow night," Maya blurted out. There was a moment of stunned silence, then Jasmine screamed so loudly that Maya had to pull the phone away from her ear. "Oh my God, this is happening, I knew it. I knew he liked you." "Calm down, it might not be like that. He said it could be a networking opportunity." "Maya, billionaire CEOs don't ask junior employees to be their date at fancy galas unless they're interested. Trust me on this. This is huge." Maya felt panic rising in her chest. "I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been to anything like this. What if I embarrass myself? What if people judge me?" "Listen to me," Jasmine said firmly. "You are smart, beautiful, and you belong anywhere you choose to be. So what if you didn't grow up in that world? You're there now because you earned it. Hold your head high and show them what you're made of." They talked for another hour, with Jasmine helping Maya navigate her anxieties and excitement. By the time they hung up, Maya felt more confident about her decision. She was going to the gala, and she was going to enjoy herself. The next morning, a messenger arrived at Maya's apartment with several garment bags from a high-end boutique. Inside were 5 stunning gowns in various styles and colors, along with shoes, jewelry, and accessories. Maya tried them all on, with her mother providing commentary and squealing with delight. The one that made Maya feel most like herself was a deep emerald green gown with a fitted bodice and flowing skirt. It had elegant lines without being too revealing, and the color made her skin glow. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she barely recognized the confident woman staring back at her. "You look like a princess," her mother said, tears in her eyes. "My beautiful baby girl going to a ball." "It's not a ball, Mama," Maya laughed. "It's just a charity gala." "With a handsome billionaire," her mother added with a knowing smile. "You like him, don't you?" Maya couldn't lie to her mother. "I don't know, maybe. He's kind and thoughtful and he treats me like I matter, but it's complicated. We're from completely different worlds." Her mother took Maya's hands in hers. "Listen to me, baby. You are just as good as anyone else, no matter how much money they have. Don't you ever forget that. If this man treats you well and makes you happy, then his bank account doesn't matter. But if he ever makes you feel less than, you walk away. You hear me?" "I hear you," Maya said, hugging her mother tight. That evening, as Maya finished getting ready, she felt a mixture of excitement and terror. She had never felt so beautiful or so out of her depth. When the doorbell rang at exactly 7 o'clock, her heart nearly leapt out of her chest. She opened the door to find not Alex, but a professional driver in a suit. "Ms. Richardson, I'm here to take you to the gala. Mr. Thornton is already at the venue and will meet you there." Maya felt a small pang of disappointment, but pushed it aside. Of course, he wouldn't pick her up personally. He probably had a million things to do before the event. She kissed her mother goodbye and followed the driver to a sleek black limousine waiting at the curb. The ride to the gala venue gave Maya time to collect herself. She looked out the window at the Chicago skyline glittering in the evening light and tried to imagine what the night would hold. The car pulled up to a stunning, historic building with a red carpet leading to the entrance. Maya's stomach did a flip when she saw all the elegantly dressed people walking in. The driver opened her door and helped her out. Maya took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and walked toward the entrance. She could do this. She belonged here just as much as anyone else. Inside, the venue was breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers hung from ornate ceilings, and the room was filled with Chicago's elite, business moguls, politicians, celebrities, all dressed in their finest. Maya accepted a glass of champagne from a passing waiter and tried not to feel overwhelmed. Maya. She turned at the sound of her name and felt her breath catch. Alex was walking toward her, looking devastating in a perfectly tailored tuxedo. But it wasn't the expensive clothes that made her heart skip. It was the way his face lit up when he saw her, the way his eyes swept over her in open admiration. "You look absolutely stunning," he said when he reached her. "That dress is perfect on you." "Thank you," Maya managed, acutely aware of the people around them staring. "This place is incredible." "Would you like a tour? I can introduce you to some people." Alex offered his arm, and Maya took it, feeling the solid warmth of him through the fabric of his jacket. For the next hour, Alex guided her through the gala, introducing her to an impressive array of people. He never introduced her as just an employee. He always made a point of mentioning her work on the scholarship program, her talent for communications, something that made her seem important and valued. Maya found herself relaxing as the evening went on, discovering that she could hold her own in conversations with these powerful people. But she also noticed the looks she was getting, especially from some of the women. They would glance at her, then at Alex, then whisper to their companions. Maya could guess what they were thinking. Who was this black woman on Alexander Thornton's arm? Where did she come from? What was she doing here? At one point, a woman in a stunning silver gown approached them. She was beautiful in a polished, artificial way, with perfect features and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Alex, darling, it's been too long." "Veronica," Alex said politely but without warmth, "how are you?" "Wonderful now that I've seen you." Veronica's eyes slid to Maya, and the temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. "And who is this?" "This is Maya Richardson. She works in communications at Thornton Industries. Maya, this is Veronica Hastings." Veronica's smile became even more brittle. "How nice. Tell me, Maya, how long have you been working at Thornton Industries?" "About 3 months," Maya said, keeping her voice pleasant. 3 months, how fascinating. And here you are at this exclusive event. You must have made quite an impression. The implication in Veronica's tone was clear, and Maya felt heat rise in her face. Before she could respond, Alex stepped in. "Maya is exceptionally talented. I'm lucky to have her on my team. If you'll excuse us, Veronica, I need to introduce Maya to some other people." He guided Maya away, and she could feel his tension. "I'm sorry about that," he said once they were out of earshot. "Veronica and I dated briefly a few years ago. She's never quite gotten over the fact that I ended things." "She seemed to have a problem with me being here," Maya said quietly. Alex stopped walking and turned to face her, his expression serious. "Let me be very clear about something, Maya. You have every right to be here. You're intelligent, talented, and you've worked hard to get where you are. Anyone who has a problem with your presence says more about them than it does about you." Maya felt a rush of gratitude and something warmer, something that scared her a little. "Thank you for saying that." "I'm not just saying it, I mean it." Alex looked at her intently, and for a moment the crowded gala fell away. It was just the two of them, standing close in the elegant room, the air between them charged with possibility. The moment was broken by an announcement that dinner was being served. Alex led Maya to their table, which was at the front of the room. As they ate and listened to speeches about the importance of education funding, Maya became increasingly aware of Alex's presence beside her. Every accidental brush of their hands, every shared glance, seemed to carry more weight than it should. After dinner, a live band began to play and people moved to the dance floor. Alex leaned over to Maya. "Would you like to dance?" Maya hesitated. She had never taken formal dance lessons, had never waltzed at a fancy gala. I don't really know how to dance to this kind of music. Neither do most people here, Alex said with a small smile. We just sway and try not to step on each other's toes. Come on, I promise I won't let you fall. He led her to the dance floor and pulled her into his arms. His hand was warm on her waist, and Maya's palm rested on his shoulder as they began to move to the music. She was stiff at first, conscious of the people watching, but Alex was a good lead, and gradually she relaxed into the rhythm. See, you're a natural, he murmured, and she could feel his breath against her ear. They swayed together on the dance floor, and Maya felt something shift between them. This wasn't just a boss being kind to an employee. This was something deeper, something that both excited and terrified her. She could see it in the way Alex looked at her, the way his hand tightened slightly on her waist, the way he seemed reluctant to let even an inch of space come between them. Maya, he said softly, and there was something in his voice that made her heart race. I need to tell you something. Before he could continue, a commotion erupted near the entrance of the ballroom. Maya turned to see what was happening and felt her blood run cold. Daniel, the drunk man from the diner, was there, along with his two friends. They had clearly been drinking, and they were arguing with the security staff. Alex's entire body tensed when he saw them. Stay here, he said to Maya, his voice hard in a way she had never heard before. But Maya wasn't about to stand there while something potentially dangerous was happening. She followed Alex as he strode toward the entrance, his jaw set and his eyes blazing with anger. I told you that you weren't welcome here, Alex said when he reached Daniel. Daniel's face was flushed with alcohol and anger. This is a charity event, Alex. We bought tickets. We have every right to be here. You lost that right when you harassed my employee, Alex said coldly. Security, please escort these men out. Your employee? Daniel's eyes found Maya standing behind Alex, and his face twisted into an ugly sneer. Oh, I see. So that's how it is. She must be really good at her job to get such special treatment. The implication was disgusting, and Maya felt shame wash over her even though she had done nothing wrong. But before she could say anything, Alex took a step forward, putting himself between Maya and Daniel. You have 5 seconds to leave before I have you arrested for trespassing, Alex said, his voice deadly quiet. The security guards moved in and Daniel's friends grabbed his arms, pulling him back. But Daniel wasn't done. Come on, Alex, we all know what this is about. You're just like your old man going after the help. At least he had the decency to keep it quiet. The words hung in the air like poison. Maya saw Alex's hands clench into fists, saw the muscle in his jaw twitch. For a moment she thought he might actually hit Daniel, but then Alex took a breath and unclenched his fists. Get them out of here, he told security, and make sure they're never allowed into any event I'm associated with again. As the men were escorted out, Maya became aware of the crowd that had gathered, all the eyes watching them, the whispers starting to spread through the room like wildfire. She felt exposed, humiliated, even though she had done nothing wrong. Alex turned to her, his face etched with concern. Maya, I'm so sorry. Are you all right? I need some air, Maya managed to say. She didn't wait for his response, just turned and walked quickly toward the terrace doors, desperate to get away from all those staring eyes. The cool night air hit her face as she stepped outside onto the empty terrace. The city stretched out before her, lights twinkling like stars. Maya gripped the railing and tried to steady her breathing. What had she been thinking coming here? She didn't belong in this world. She was just a waitress playing dress-up, and everyone knew it. She heard footsteps behind her and knew without turning that it was Alex. Maya, please talk to me. What did he mean? Maya asked, her voice shaking. What he said about your father. Alex was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was filled with old pain. My father left when I was young, but before he did, he had an affair with one of our housekeepers. My mother found out, and it destroyed her. She never really recovered from that betrayal. Maya closed her eyes. So people will think that's what this is, that you're just repeating your father's mistakes. I don't care what people think, Alex said fiercely. He came to stand beside her at the railing. And this is nothing like what my father did. He used his position of power to take advantage of someone vulnerable. I would never do that to you, Maya, never. But that's how they'll see it, Maya said, turning to face him. I saw their faces in there. They think I'm sleeping my way to success. They think I'm some kind of opportunist who seduced the boss. Then they're idiots, Alex said. Anyone who actually knows you, who has seen your work, knows that you've earned your position through talent and hard work. Maya felt tears prick at her eyes. Maybe coming here tonight was a mistake. Maybe all of this was a mistake. Don't say that, Alex said, and there was desperation in his voice now. He took her hands in his, and Maya was startled by the gesture. Maya, I need you to understand something. The reason I invited you tonight, the reason I can't stop thinking about you, has nothing to do with some inappropriate workplace dynamic. You're brilliant and kind and strong, and I'm drawn to you in a way I haven't been drawn to anyone in years. Maya's breath caught. Alex, we can't, you're my boss, this could ruin everything. I know, Alex said miserably. Believe me, I know. I've been fighting these feelings for months. But tonight, dancing with you, seeing you shine in that room full of people who could never match your grace and intelligence, I realized I can't keep pretending that what I feel for you is just professional respect. Maya's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. She wanted to be sensible, to push him away, to protect the career she had worked so hard to build. But she also wanted to lean into him, to let herself feel the connection that had been growing between them since that first night at the diner. What are you saying? She whispered. Alex took a breath. I'm saying that I have feelings for you, Maya, real feelings, and if there's any chance that you feel the same way, I want to explore this, but not at the cost of your career or your comfort. If you want to keep things professional, I'll respect that. I'll stop with the personal check-ins, I'll keep my distance, but I needed you to know the truth. Maya looked into his eyes and saw vulnerability there, saw a man who had laid his heart bare and was waiting for her response. She thought about all the reasons she should say no, should protect herself and her career. But she also thought about the way he had defended her, the way he had believed in her, the way he made her feel seen and valued in a way no one else ever had. I have feelings for you too, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. I've been trying to deny them, but I do. The relief that washed over Alex's face was palpable. Really? Maya nodded. But I'm scared, Alex. Scared of what people will say, scared of losing my job if things don't work out, scared that we're too different for this to ever really work. I'm scared too, Alex admitted. But Maya, I haven't felt this way about anyone since my wife died 5 years ago. Maya's eyes widened. You were married. Alex nodded. Her name was, she died in a car accident. For 5 years, I've thrown myself into work, telling myself that was enough. But then I met you, and you reminded me what it feels like to want something more than just the next business deal. The raw honesty in his words moved Maya deeply. She understood loss, understood how it could close you off from the world. The fact that he was willing to open his heart again, to take a chance on her despite all the complications, meant more than he could know. So what do we do? Maya asked. How do we navigate this? Alex thought for a moment. We take it slow. We keep things professional at work, but outside of work we get to know each other. No pressure, no expectations. We just see where this goes. And if people talk, if they assume the worst, then they're wrong, and eventually the truth will speak for itself, Alex said firmly. Your work will prove that you deserve your position, and anyone who suggests otherwise will have to deal with me. Maya felt a smile tug at her lips despite everything. You're very protective. When it comes to you, absolutely. Alex reached up and gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering against her cheek. So what do you say, Maya Richardson? Will you give me a chance? Maya thought about her mother's advice, about how she was just as good as anyone else regardless of their bank account. She thought about how Alex made her feel valued and seen. She thought about the connection between them that felt too real to ignore. Yes, she said, her voice steady and sure. I'll give you a chance. Alex's smile was like the sun breaking through clouds. He pulled her into an embrace, and Maya let herself relax into his arms. They stood there on the terrace, holding each other as the city sparkled below them, and for the first time in a long time, Maya felt like everything was going to be okay. When they finally pulled apart, Alex laughed softly. We should probably go back inside. People will wonder where we went. Let them wonder, Maya said with a newfound confidence. I'm tired of worrying about what other people think. They walked back into the ballroom together, and Maya noticed the stares and whispers. But this time, instead of feeling ashamed or intimidated, she held her head high. She had earned her place here through hard work and talent, and she wasn't going to let anyone make her feel less than. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Maya and Alex didn't dance again. They both felt it would be too obvious. But they stayed together, talking and laughing, and the connection between them only seemed to grow stronger. By the time the gala ended and Alex walked Maya to the car that would take her home, she felt like she was floating. "Thank you for tonight," Maya said as they stood beside the car. "Even with the drama, it was an amazing evening." "The first of many, I hope," Alex said. He hesitated, then leaned down and pressed a gentle kiss to her cheek. "Good night, Maya. I'll see you Monday." Maya touched her cheek where his lips had been, a smile playing at her lips. "Good night, Alex." The ride home gave Maya time to process everything that had happened. She felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety about what lay ahead. Starting a relationship with her boss was risky, potentially career-ending if things went wrong. But there was also a rightness to it that she couldn't deny, a sense that this was meant to happen. When she got home, her mother was still awake, waiting eagerly to hear about the evening. Maya told her everything: the beautiful venue, the elegant people, the confrontation with Daniel, and Alex's confession on the terrace. Her mother listened with rapt attention, her eyes shining with tears when Maya finished. "My baby girl has found someone special. I can tell from the way you talk about him." "It's complicated, Mama," Maya said. "He's my boss. People are going to judge." "People always judge," her mother said wisely. "Especially when a black woman dares to reach for something they think she doesn't deserve. But you let me tell you something, Maya. Love is rare and precious. When you find someone who sees you, really sees you, and values you for who you are, you hold on to that. You fight for it. You don't let other people's small-minded thinking steal your happiness." Maya hugged her mother tight. "When did you get so wise?" "I've always been wise," her mother laughed. "You just haven't always been ready to listen." Over the next few weeks, Maya and Alex began to carefully build their relationship. At work, they maintained a professional distance. Maya continued to excel at her job, taking on more responsibilities and proving her value to the team. But outside of work, they would meet for quiet dinners at out-of-the-way restaurants, take long walks through the city, and talk for hours about everything and nothing. Maya learned about Alex's childhood, about watching his mother struggle and vowing to build a life where he could help people. Alex learned about Maya's dreams of being a journalist, about the stories she wanted to tell about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. They discovered shared interests: a love of old movies, a passion for social justice, a tendency to overthink everything. But they also learned about their differences. Alex's world was one of luxury and privilege, where problems could often be solved with money or influence. Maya's world had been one of constant struggle, where every small victory was hard-won. These differences sometimes led to misunderstandings, but they also helped each of them grow and see the world through new eyes. One evening, about a month after the gala, Alex invited Maya to his home for dinner. She had been curious about where he lived, imagining some sterile penthouse or massive mansion. What she found instead was a beautiful but surprisingly modest brownstone in Lincoln Park. "This is your house?" Maya asked as Alex led her inside. "I was expecting something more flashy." Alex laughed. "My father lived in a flashy penthouse. I wanted something that felt like a home, not a showcase." The interior was warm and inviting, filled with comfortable furniture, books, and art. Maya noticed photos on the mantel: a beautiful woman with kind eyes who must have been, a younger Alex with a woman who looked like him and was probably his mother. "Your mother was beautiful," Maya said, picking up the photo. "She would have liked you," Alex said softly. "You remind me of her in some ways, the same strength, the same determination to make things better for the people you love." They cooked dinner together, or rather, Alex attempted to cook while Maya saved them from disaster. It was comfortable and domestic, and exactly what Maya needed after weeks of navigating the complexities of their situation at work. As they sat on his couch after dinner, Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Jasmine. "How's it going? Do I need to stage a rescue mission?" Maya smiled and texted back, "No rescue needed, it's perfect." "What are you smiling about?" Alex asked, pulling her closer. "Just Jasmine checking on me. She's very protective." "Good," Alex said. "You should have people looking out for you." He was quiet for a moment, then added, "Maya, I know we said we'd take things slow, but I need to tell you something. These past few weeks with you have been the happiest I've been in years. You make me laugh, you challenge me, you make me want to be a better man. I'm falling in love with you." Maya's heart swelled. She had been feeling the same way but had been too scared to say it out loud. "I'm falling in love with you too," she whispered. The next few months were a delicate balancing act. Maya and Alex continued to keep their relationship private, knowing that going public would invite scrutiny and judgment. At work, Maya threw herself into her projects with even more determination, wanting to prove beyond any doubt that she deserved her position. Her hard work paid off when Karen promoted her to Senior Communications Associate, a move that came with a significant raise and more responsibility. But the secrecy was taking its toll. Maya hated feeling like they were doing something wrong when everything about their relationship felt right. She hated the knowing looks from some who suspected something was going on. Most of all, she hated not being able to share her happiness openly with the people she cared about. One evening, as they sat in Alex's living room, Maya finally brought up what had been weighing on her mind. "How long are we going to keep this a secret?" Alex looked up from the report he had been reading. "What do you mean?" "I mean, we've been together for almost 4 months now. We're in love, but we still can't acknowledge our relationship publicly because we're worried about what people will say." Maya's frustration was evident in her voice. "I'm tired of sneaking around, Alex. I'm tired of feeling like we're ashamed of each other." "I'm not ashamed of you," Alex said immediately, setting down the report and giving her his full attention. "Not even a little bit." "Then why are we still hiding?" Maya challenged. "Is it because you're worried about how it will look? The CEO dating a junior employee, especially one who's black and used to be a waitress. I know how the optics look." Alex ran a hand through his hair, a gesture Maya had come to recognize as a sign of stress. "It's not about the optics, Maya, or at least not in the way you think. I'm worried about protecting you. Once we go public, you'll be under a microscope. People will pick apart every aspect of your life, your career. They'll question whether you deserve your promotions, whether our relationship is appropriate. I've seen what the media can do to people, and I don't want that for you." Maya softened slightly, understanding his concern. "I appreciate that you want to protect me, Alex, but I'm not fragile. I've dealt with judgment and prejudice my whole life. I can handle whatever comes our way. What I can't handle is feeling like I'm some dirty secret you need to hide." The words hung between them, heavy with hurt. Alex looked stricken. "Is that really how you feel, like a secret I'm ashamed of?" "Sometimes," Maya admitted quietly. "Like when you introduced me as just a colleague to your business partner last week, or when we had to leave a restaurant early because you saw someone you knew. I know you're trying to protect me, but it feels like you're ashamed instead." Alex moved closer to her on the couch, taking her hands in his. "Maya, I love you. I love everything about you, your strength, your intelligence, your kindness, your determination. I'm proud to be with you. If I've made you feel otherwise, I'm truly sorry. That was never my intention." "I know," Maya said, "and I love you too. But Alex, we can't build a real future together if we're constantly hiding. At some point, we need to be brave enough to stand together publicly, consequences and all." Alex was quiet for a long moment, clearly wrestling with the decision. Finally, he nodded. "You're right. I've been so focused on protecting you that I didn't realize I was hurting you instead. We should go public with our relationship." Maya felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. "Really?" "Really," Alex confirmed. "But let's do it on our terms, not through gossip or speculation, but through an official announcement. I'll talk to our PR team, and we'll craft a statement that presents the facts clearly and professionally." "What about my job?" Maya asked, voicing her biggest concern. "People are going to say I only got promoted because I'm sleeping with the boss." "Then we'll make sure the facts speak for themselves," Alex said firmly. "Your work record, your accomplishments, your contributions to the company, they're all documented and impressive. Karen will vouch for you. Your team members will vouch for you. Yes, some people will talk, but the truth is on your side." Over the next week, Alex worked with the company's PR team to craft a statement about their relationship. He also spoke with Karen and the HR department to ensure everything was handled properly. To Maya's relief, Karen was supportive, if a bit concerned about potential complications. "I'm not going to lie to you, Maya," Karen said when they met privately. "This is going to be challenging, but I've watched you work for the past 7 months, and I know that you've earned every opportunity you've received. Your relationship with Alex doesn't change that fact. Just be prepared for some difficult questions and conversations." The statement was released on a Friday afternoon, a carefully worded announcement that acknowledged Alex and Maya's relationship and emphasized that all proper HR protocols had been followed. Within hours, the news had spread through the company and beyond. Maya's phone exploded with texts from friends, and some supportive, others clearly fishing for gossip. The following Monday, when Maya arrived at the office, she could feel the eyes on her. Conversations stopped when she walked by. People whispered behind their hands. But Maya held her head high and went about her work, determined not to let the attention affect her performance. Not everyone was unkind. Jennifer, her colleague and friend, gave her a big hug and told her she was happy for her. David high-fived her and said he always knew there was something between her and Alex. Several others offered their support and congratulations. But there were also the difficult encounters. One of the senior managers, Robert, made a pointed comment during a meeting about how some people had unique advantages when it came to career advancement. Maya felt her face heat with anger and embarrassment, but before she could respond, Alex, who was leading the meeting, shut it down immediately. "Robert, I'm going to stop you right there," Alex said, his voice cold and authoritative. "Maya's promotions and responsibilities have been based solely on her merit and performance. If you have concerns about her qualifications, I suggest you review her work record, which speaks for itself. Any further insinuations of impropriety will be considered harassment and dealt with accordingly." The room went silent, and Robert looked like he wanted to disappear. Maya caught Alex's eye and gave him a small, grateful smile. He nodded slightly before continuing with the meeting. After work that day, Maya was packing up her things when she noticed a woman she didn't recognize standing by her desk. The woman was well-dressed and professional-looking, probably in her late 30s. "Maya Richardson?" the woman asked. "Yes, that's me. Can I help you?" The woman extended her hand. "My name is Lee. I'm a reporter with the Chicago Tribune. I was hoping I could ask you a few questions about your relationship with Alexander Thornton." Maya's stomach dropped. "I don't have anything to say to the press." "I understand this is a sensitive topic," said smoothly. "But the story is going to be written with or without your input. Don't you want to make sure your side is represented accurately?" "My side?" Maya felt her anger rising. "There's no side here. Alex and I are in a relationship. That's all there is to it." Pulled out a notebook. "Come on, Maya. You have to admit the story is compelling. A waitress from the South Side who gets a job at a billionaire's company and ends up dating him. It's like a modern-day Cinderella story." "My life is not a fairy tale," Maya said sharply. "And I'm not some helpless girl who needed a rich man to rescue her. I worked hard for my position here. I earned it." "I'm sure you did," said, but her tone suggested she didn't believe it. "But you have to admit, the optics are questionable. A CEO dating a subordinate, especially one he personally hired, it raises questions about power dynamics and professional ethics." "This conversation is over," Maya said, grabbing her bag. "If you want a statement, you can contact the company's PR department." She walked away, her hands shaking with anger and frustration. This was exactly what she had been afraid of, being reduced to a stereotype, her accomplishments dismissed, her relationship sensationalized. She pulled out her phone and called Alex. "Hey, I was just about to call you," Alex said when he answered. "Want to grab dinner?" "A reporter just ambushed me at my desk," Maya said, her voice tight. "Lee from the Tribune. She wanted to interview me about our relationship." Alex cursed softly. "I'll call our lawyers. She shouldn't be approaching you at work." "Alex, this is just the beginning, isn't it? This is what our life is going to be like now. Reporters digging into my past, people questioning my integrity, everyone having an opinion about our relationship." "Probably," Alex admitted. "I'm sorry, Maya, I know this isn't what you signed up for." Maya took a breath, trying to calm herself. "No, it's not. But I signed up for you, and that means dealing with everything that comes with it. I just need to know that we're in this together, that you have my back when things get difficult." "Always," Alex said without hesitation. "I will always have your back. And Maya, I'm proud of you. Proud of how you handled that reporter, proud of how you've handled everything. You're the strongest person I know." His words helped settle the anxiety churning in her stomach. "Thanks, I needed to hear that." "Come over tonight," Alex said. "We'll order takeout, watch a terrible movie, and forget about reporters and gossip and all of it. Just you and me." "That sounds perfect," Maya said, feeling a smile tug at her lips. As the weeks went by, the initial frenzy around their relationship began to die down. An article did appear in the Tribune, but it was relatively balanced, focusing more on the scholarship program Alex had started than on salacious details about their relationship. Maya suspected that Alex's lawyers had something to do with that. More importantly, Maya continued to prove herself through her work. She led a successful campaign that generated significant positive press for Thornton Industries. She mentored two new junior associates, helping them adjust to the corporate environment just as Jennifer and Karen had helped her. And she continued to take on more responsibility, demonstrating that she was there because of her talent, not because of who she was dating. 6 months after going public with their relationship, Maya was offered a position as communications director at Thornton Industries, a significant promotion that came with a corner office and a seat at leadership meetings. She knew that some people would say she only got it because of Alex, but she also knew the truth. She had worked incredibly hard, had proven her value repeatedly, and had earned the promotion on her own merit. On the evening after her promotion was announced, Alex took her to dinner at an elegant restaurant overlooking the lake. As they sat across from each other, Maya reflected on how much her life had changed in just over a year. She had gone from working double shifts at a diner, struggling to pay bills, to being the communications director at a major tech company. She had gone from being harassed by drunk customers to being loved and respected by a man who saw her true worth. "What are you thinking about?" Alex asked, reaching across the table to take her hand. "Just how different everything is now," Maya said. "A year ago, I never could have imagined this would be my life." "Do you ever regret it? The complications, the scrutiny, everything that came with being with me?" Maya thought about the question seriously. Yes, there had been difficult moments. The reporters, the gossip, the people who questioned her integrity. But there had also been incredible moments. The way Alex looked at her like she was the most important person in the world, the way he supported her dreams, the way he had helped her build a better life not just for herself, but for her mother too. "No," Maya said firmly. "I don't regret any of it, because being with you has shown me that I'm capable of so much more than I thought possible. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You gave me a chance when no one else would, and you loved me for who I am, not who I was supposed to be." "Maya," Alex said, his voice thick with emotion, "you're the one who did the hard work. You're the one who took every opportunity and turned it into something more. I just opened a door. You're the one who walked through it and claimed your place." They finished their dinner, talking and laughing as the sun set over Lake Michigan. When the server cleared their plates, Alex reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Maya's breath caught in her throat. "I know we've faced a lot of challenges this year," Alex said, opening the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. "And I know there will probably be more challenges ahead, but Maya, I want to face all of them with you by my side. You've made me happier than I ever thought I could be again. You've reminded me what it means to fight for what matters, to believe in second chances, to choose love even when it's complicated. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Maya's face as she looked at the ring, then at Alex. A year ago, she had been a waitress just trying to survive. She had sat on this man's lap to escape harassment, had heard him say he wouldn't let anyone hurt her, and he had kept that promise. He had protected her, believed in her, loved her. And she had become someone new in the process, someone stronger, more confident, more capable of claiming her own worth. "Yes," Maya said, her voice breaking with emotion. "Yes, I'll marry you." Alex slipped the ring onto her finger and came around the table to kiss her. Other diners in the restaurant began to applaud, and Maya laughed through her tears. Nothing about their story had been conventional or easy, but it had been real, and it had been worth it. As they left the restaurant that night, Alex's arm around her waist, Maya thought about that scared waitress who had sought protection in a stranger's kindness. That girl had been brave enough to trust, to take a chance, to believe that she deserved more. And in doing so, she had found not just love, but herself. The next morning, Maya woke up in Alex's arms, the diamond on her finger catching the light from the window. She thought about everything that lay ahead, planning a wedding, navigating being engaged to a billionaire CEO, continuing to prove herself in her career. There would still be people who judged, who questioned, who didn't believe she belonged. But Maya had learned something important over the past year. She didn't need anyone's permission to take up space in the world. She had earned her place through hard work, determination, and courage. Alex stirred beside her, pulling her closer. "Good morning, future Mrs. Thornton." Maya smiled. "Actually, I was thinking I'd keep Richardson, or maybe hyphenate." "Whatever makes you happy," Alex said, kissing her forehead. "I just want you to be happy." "I am happy," Maya said, and she realized it was completely true. "For the first time in a long time, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Later that day, Maya drove to her mother's apartment to share the news. Her mother cried tears of joy and pulled Maya into a tight embrace. "My baby is getting married," she said through her tears. I'm so proud of you, Maya, not because you're marrying a rich man, but because you've become the woman you were always meant to be. Over the following months, as Maya and Alex planned their wedding and built their life together, Maya made it a point to give back to others who were in the position she had once been in. She volunteered at a job training program for people from disadvantaged backgrounds. She mentored young women of color who were trying to break into corporate careers. And she used her platform as communications director to amplify stories of people who were working hard to overcome obstacles and create better lives for themselves. On the day of their wedding, a small, intimate ceremony attended by close friends and family, Maya stood at the altar looking at Alex and felt overwhelming gratitude. Not just for him, but for everything that had led to this moment. The struggles, the challenges, the times when she thought she might break but didn't. All of it had shaped her into the woman she was now, strong enough to stand beside this man as an equal partner. As they exchanged vows, Maya thought about that night at the diner, about the moment when she had sat on Alex's lap seeking protection from men who wanted to hurt her. He had told her to pretend that he wouldn't let anyone hurt her, but what had started as pretense had become real. He had kept his promise in ways neither of them could have imagined. But more than that, Maya had learned to protect herself. She had learned that she was strong enough to face judgment and prejudice and keep moving forward. She had learned that her worth wasn't determined by what others thought of her, but by what she knew to be true about herself. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, and Alex kissed her as their friends and family cheered, Maya felt a sense of completeness she had never experienced before. This wasn't a fairy tale where a prince had rescued a damsel in distress. This was a story about a woman who had rescued herself, who had taken every opportunity and turned it into something more, who had refused to let circumstances or other people's opinions define her. At the reception, from the diner was there, tears streaming down her face as she hugged Maya. Jasmine gave an emotional speech about watching her best friend transform from a scared, overworked waitress into a confident, successful woman. Karen talked about the day Alex had insisted on interviewing Maya despite her unconventional background, and how that decision had brought one of the best employees the company had ever had. As the evening wound down and Maya and Alex prepared to leave for their honeymoon, Maya took a moment to stand alone on the terrace overlooking the city. The same city where she had struggled and survived, where she had met Alex, where she had built her new life. Chicago would always be home, not because it had been easy, but because it was where she had learned who she really was. Alex found her there, slipping his arms around her waist from behind. "What are you thinking about, Mrs. Thornton?" Maya smiled at the name, even though she had decided to keep Richardson professionally. "Just about how far we've come, how far I've come." "You did that yourself," Alex reminded her. "I just gave you an opportunity. You're the one who took it and turned it into everything that came after." Maya turned in his arms to face him. "We did it together. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You gave me a chance when no one else would, and you loved me through all the complications and challenges." "And I'll keep loving you through whatever comes next," Alex promised. "All of it, the good and the bad." "Just pretend," Maya said softly, echoing the words he had said to her that first night. "Remember." Alex smiled, understanding the reference. "We're not pretending anymore." "No," Maya agreed, her heart full. "We're not pretending anymore. This is real. All of it is real." And as they stood together under the stars, two people from completely different worlds who had found each other against all odds, Maya knew that their story was just beginning. There would be more challenges ahead, more obstacles to overcome. But they would face them together, as equal partners, both stronger for having found each other. The girl who had sought safety on a stranger's lap had become a woman who could stand on her own. But she had also learned that asking for help, accepting kindness, and letting people in didn't make her weak. It made her human. It made her whole. And that was worth everything. Alex cupped her face in his hands and kissed her. A sweet, tender kiss that held all the promise of what they could be together. "You're just a good teacher," Maya countered, looking up at him. What surprised her most was how often she saw Alex. She had assumed that as CEO, he would be too busy to notice a junior employee. But he made a point of checking in on her at least once a week, asking how she was adjusting and if she needed anything. Their conversations were always professional but warm, and Maya found herself looking forward to them. Their worlds couldn't be more different, and yet here they were, sharing this strange moment in time.